Okay. I don't know if I want to do this. The PragerU video that chatter sent me. Like, it's been sitting on the docket. And I feel like it's going to kill me if I watch it. A Palestinian? Does Israel occupy the West Bank? Dude, PragerU has cut so many fucking videos on this. Holy shit. Look at this. The Middle East Conflict Part 1 of Video Marathon. The Middle East Problem from Dennis himself. Why isn't there a Palestinian state? The Middle East Conflict Part 1 Marathon. A Palestinian explains Hamas. Does Israel occupy the West Bank? Wait, which video is this one? The TikTok one. Do we know? The most common one going is a Palestinian explains Hamas.
To my Palestinian brothers and sisters, and to anyone who supports the Palestinian people, I implore you, please do not let Hamas brainwash you into thinking it has achieved anything on our behalf. It hasn't. Not in the Gaza wars of 2021, 2014, 2012, or 2008. Each one.
My Palestinian brothers, put down your arms and die.
One of these pointless conflicts has been.
Yeah, let's keep beheading babies. That's how we fight. Wait, what? I can't tell if you're joking or not.
Any catastrophe.
There ain't no way you're in here fucking being like, PragerU is based, right?
Costing us dearly in lives and treasure. Hamas is not us dearly in lives and treasure.
Wow. Dude, this is awesome. Yeah, these pointless conflicts have been a catastrophe. They just keep killing us extra hard. That's cool. Okay.
Hamas is not a social justice movement, and it certainly does not care about the Palestinian people. It is a criminal gang that only cares about increasing its own power. Israel is not the main cause of your suffering.
I was about to be like, where is he going to go with this? Hold on. Hamas is the main cause of your suffering, not Israel? Bitch, who fucking helped prop up Hamas?
Hamas is the main cause. Israel is not your jailer. Hamas is. It was Hamas.
What? Yeah, dude, right now, in 2018, okay, so this video is from 2021. So in 2018, when people inside of the Gaza borders were like peacefully walking to the Israeli border, which by the way, Hamas apparently guards now, it wasn't the IDF snipers that sniped little babies and little children personally. It was actually Hamas. That's right. Hamas had infiltrated the IDF and become border guards for Israel, and they were the ones who were killing the children. Hamas famously also is responsible for the Nakba. Hamas is also famously responsible for the blockade. Hamas is also famously responsible for no desalination plants inside of Gaza. Hamas is also personally responsible for the partitioning of West Bank, even though Hamas is not in the West Bank. Yeah, it was super sick when Hamas was like, let's do the Nakba.
Hamas that led you into this most recent disaster. They told you that the Israelis were evicting innocent Palestinians from their homes in the Sheikh Jarrah area of East Jerusalem.
Wait. Wait, what? So who was doing
is
that?
a lie. The people living in those homes weren't tenants. They were squatters.
Yo! Yo, dude. Dude, this guy is awesome. Okay. I mean, this is literally basic. This is super fucking ultra Zionist propaganda. He's just doing an accent. That's the only difference. He's like, I've heard this like 1,000 times over. I guess it hits different when it's like someone who says that they are Palestinian. I guess he is Palestinian. That's it.
They hadn't paid rent for decades. They told you that the Israelis plan to destroy.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Palestinians that watch this will definitely go, yeah, no, you're right, actually. I can't believe that. That's why some guy from Long Island should live there instead. I got it. That's so awesome.
Destroy the Al Aqsa Mosque. This too is a lie. The mosque is still there.
It's just that when you try to pray during Ramadan, or if you want to go to the mosque from Gaza, it's impossible. If you want to go to the mosque from even occupied West Bank, it's still entirely too difficult. And once you finally get to the mosque, they'll beat the shit out of you. Sometimes kill you, but it's still there.
It will be there tomorrow. Say what you want about the Israelis. They are not stupid. They know that if they actually attempt to destroy Al Aqsa, it would lead to war with every Muslim country. Yes, Hamas.
They will 100 one day. If left to Ben Gavir's control, they would literally bomb it today. They have bombed it with like you know, hand grenades and shit like that. I'm talking like straight up destroy it entirely.
Take actions and thus look strong next to its rival, the corrupt Fatah party. But the only act.
I get it. Oh, the Fatah party is bad too, which, by the way, that is a shared perspective amongst Palestinians, at least now. But he's like, they just happen to not have a single good party there. No one is actually out for your own. No one actually has your best interest at heart. Okay, the corrupt Fatah party is also bad. The Hamas is also bad, and they're lying to you. When you get when you get bludgeoned in the head with an Israeli baton on your way to work, going through the 11th checkpoint, okay, on your way to the to get to work on the 11 checkpoints, so you can work for fucking $8 to $10 a day, all right, and a settler scumbag looks at you in the wrong way and spits on you, and you go, what the fuck are you doing? And then you get destroyed by the IDF. Remember, that's just a lie. Hamas made that lie up, okay? Remember, do not believe your eyes. Do not believe your ears. Do not believe your skin. Do not believe the feelings that you have in your heart and your soul. Believe me on YouTube at PragerU.com, okay? That was a lie that Hamas made up. It was also Hamas. It was not the IDF. It was also Hamas that did that for you. That's great. Okay. And then he says the Fatah is bad too, which, you know, he's probably not going to say it's bad for the reasons that Palestinians think Fatah is bad, but let's see.
Action it takes is to lead us into chaos. Hamas has no ability and, in fact,
oh, he just said they're bad and moved on. Never mind.
No desire to govern. The water isn't safe to drink. The power goes out for hours at a time.
Wait. Yeah? But that's not Israel's fault? What the fuck?
Raw sewage washes up on your beaches. The Israelis are not responsible for these dismal failures. Hamas is. And everybody in Gaza knows.
Yeah, this video, this video is not made for, exactly. This video is not made for a single Palestinian person to watch. This video is made for those who are Zionists and supporters of Israel, not even in Israel proper, but literally globally to watch. I don't always agree with PragerU University, but nailed it completely, every word. This is coming from a Palestinian human rights activist who started his career criticizing Israel and is now criticizing Palestine. Says a lot about Palestine. My man has a human rights activist career, chat. He's like, I'm a professional grifter. Great content, Pager. When I think the channel exhausts all topics, something new springs up. Thank you for the informative video. More people need to know the truth. You said that Israel wouldn't destroy Al-Aqsa because they are afraid to go to war. The truth is they wouldn't simply because it's a state of religion, the Holy Land, and every religion is accepted and protected there, unlike Hamas that would happily destroy synagogues and churches because they are haram. Awesome video. One thing I wish Mr. Aid had spoken about was the fact that when Israel withdrew, arguably from their own land, says Island Boy, in 2005, they left behind massive hydroponics industry for the people of Gaza to use. So what did the people of Gaza do? Did they take possession of millions of dollars of glass houses and equipment to get the work prospering? No, they destroyed it. All of it, which Israel famously did not destroy when they fucking bombed it and destroyed the water desalination plants, as well as every other fucking. They bomb hospitals. What are we talking about? Wow, this is incredible. No PR value in that, and no way they ever want Israel to look like anything other than a bunch of tyrannical murderers.
It is Hamas that steals the imported cement meant to build houses for you and uses it instead to build a massive network of tunnels.
Yeah, no, that's not true. They literally do not allow concrete into Gaza for this reason. They say they're building a massive network of tunnels, and that is the reason why you can't have concrete.
From which it hopes to terrorize Israelis. It is Hamas that makes sure humanitarian aid meant for you is diverted to its favored elites, who then sell it for a profit.
Yeah, no, famously, so much humanitarian aid is making it into Gaza. Also, like pasta, illegal, made illegal by the occupation.
On the black market. And it is Hamas that uses you as a human shield, stationing rocket launchers and missile arsenals in your apartments, office buildings.
Which is why Israel has no option but to destroy residential buildings. But again, it's Hamas's fault. Everything is Hamas's fault. Dude, did you step on a Lego? Hamas. Okay. Did your school get bombed? Hamas. It was an Israeli bomb, but it was Hamas's fault. Yeah, once again, there is no singular Palestinian person who will watch that and go, yeah, no, I agree with this. This is great. Even Palestinians in diaspora, which there are many of, okay, all around the world due to Hamas, I guess, and not Israel. It's like even they are completely aware of the reality. Like no one would ever look at this video and go, "Wow, this is a banger. Thank you." This video is made for white people.
Schools and even hospitals.
You are so dumb and insane. You are not living here. You don't know shit. You are not living here. So you're tuning in from Gaza or the West Bank. Hello, I am a Palestinian in West Bank. Please, I am not typing this from Israel, or I am not typing this from Langley, Virginia. I am actually typing this from the West Bank. I am a Palestinian. Where you coming from? I'm from Israel, Mr. HasanAbi, proud guy. Okay. So what happened? Did Hamas cut the electricity in Gaza? Did Hamas take over the fucking leadership of the military to say all the all the people of Gaza are human animals who do not deserve to have food or electricity? Was it Hamas that bombed the checkpoint, the only way out of... Wait, there is progress before this? Wait, what do you mean? Was it Hamas snipers that sniped in 2018? Almost 50,000 Palestinian protesters, including killing little children, like little babies and shit, at the border. There was progress before this. What kind of progress has there been? The only progress, by the way, I love when people in Israel are like, Hasan, you're unfamiliar with this. It's like, bro, I am relying on, oftentimes, literal Israeli sources of information. Okay? This what you are saying betrays the notion of education. What you're saying betrays the reason for reading books, because you must see it with your own two eyes. Okay? You have to see it with your own two eyes. That's a weak ban, though? No, I didn't ban this guy. He's not banned. He just stopped talking. How can you support Hamas? I don't even support Hamas. But this, in and of itself, is ridiculous. This guy is like, hey, guys, it's not Israel that is bombing you right now. It's Hamas that's bombing you. Get the fuck out of here.
Israel uses rockets to defend its people. Hamas uses people to defend its rockets. As for its war strategy, Hamas doesn't have...
Yeah, this guy can only do this if he is living in Israel. They're so progressive, they need to call Palestinians inside Israel Israeli Arabs so they don't feel like living among the terrorists.
One, it fires missiles at the most highly populated regions of Israel with no specific target. Yet, I know from my sources...
Bro, okay, give them better targeting systems, dude. I'm on board with that. I am down to give Palestinians... I already pay for the Iron Dome. I'm down to give the Palestinians the Iron Dome and better missile targeting systems so they can hit military checkpoints instead of indiscriminately firing rockets into random areas. Like, what's up? Yeah, okay. Straight up, let's level the playing field. America loves selling guns. Do it.
in Gaza that as much as 25% of all rockets launched by Hamas in May 2021 crashed within Gaza.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, their shit sucks. Their tech sucks. Are you making an argument to give them better tech? Because, let's do it. Let's see how that works. Before this statement, you need to understand that the IDF doesn't want to damage the Palestinians. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right, man. Yeah, when the IDF said... Yeah, no, America, when they went into Iraq, they actually were welcomed as liberators because they wanted to bring democracy to Iraq. When the IDF sniper sniped a famous Palestinian American journalist in the neck, even though she had a press vest on and a helmet on, so like the only way that she could be effectively assassinated was her neck. That was actually done not because they just wanted to fucking kill a famous journalist, but just I don't know really. Why? What does that chatter think? How did that happen? See message. There was no progress. You can only think that there is progress if you're totally so fucking blinded. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something. Your own internal security does not agree with you. Okay? The idea that there was progress in relations with the Palestinians is an abject lie. Okay? That's a lie. The treatment of Palestinians in the West Bank under the occupation that is illegal, okay? Bro, stop. You're going to get canceled. I am from Gaza and you know shit about Israel polices. I like when, listen. I appreciate ingenuity, okay? I appreciate it. When you have Hasbara trolls hitting different lines of attack, I like it. Like, at least it's something that I haven't heard before. Because, like, most of the time we are the most moral military. Like, we do the most moral genocide. We let you know that genocide is happening when we do it beforehand. Like, ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement is actually super sick when we tell you that we're going to do it. Like, that part I've heard a million times over. Okay, we're done. I can't watch the rest of this. This is so boring.
Places like Jaffa, Abu Ghosh, and Lud, where
Yeah, he's literally saying Hamas missiles actually end up fucking killing like Arabs, which is true. That part is true. Again, give them better targeting systems. Okay, got it.
where Arab Israelis live. Palestinians living in Israel are as likely to be killed as Israelis there.
That's actually a lie. There's a higher likelihood. Why? For example, there are areas where Palestinians living in Israel live inside of that are severely underserved, like where the Bedouins live. Okay? Another thing that you don't really hear about from most people that describe the situation on the ground. So, areas where the Bedouins live do not have bomb shelters. Okay? They don't, because the Israeli government doesn't give a shit. So oftentimes, the reason why Palestinians living in Israel are as likely to be killed as Israelis themselves, which is a fucking disgusting way to say this, because they are Israelis, you fucking donkey. Okay? I thought that they were Arab Israelis. What happened? But look at the distinction that PragerU is making. Despite the fact that Palestinians living in Israel are technically supposed to have all the same liberties and amenities, guess what, dude? They're still a little bit different than Israelis themselves. And they are. They are bullied. They are fucking, they are discriminated against. But also, areas where they live, what the fuck? How are you supporting or justifying Hamas actions in any way? Okay, are you actually justifying Hamas actions? You are coming to that conclusion. If I tell you the exact situation on the ground in Israel and in Palestine, and you go, holy fuck, you're supporting Hamas, you just made that up. You came to that conclusion. You are the one who thinks Hamas's actions must be justifiable. I did not say that. You did. You came to that conclusion. I came in, I'm asking, why? You heard a couple things that I said that is routine practice inside of Israel, and you immediately went, so are you justifying Hamas? You made that assumption. Why? Did it for a brief moment make you feel like it was justifiable what Hamas is doing? Is that why?
Themselves. Hamas couldn't care less. And what was gained? Palestinians living in these 4 buildings in Sheikh Jarrah will still eventually be evicted. A fact that has been known to those.
Bro, he's really saying, like, no, they're gonna continue doing ethnic cleansing and ethnic displacement in Sheikh Jarrah, and everybody knows that, but it's still Hamas's fault that that's happening. Hey, dumbass, these fucking takes do not align with, once again, Shinbet's own opinion on this, on the matter. That's great. Good script. Hasan, stop praising China. I'm from China. And you know shit about China. Thank you for saying I know shit about China. Anyway. Here, let's do does Israel occupy the West Bank?
How many times have you heard that Israel occupies the West Bank? Probably more times than you can count. But have you ever asked yourself whether it's true, or even what it means? Let's do so now in the most objective way possible. That is, in the way that all territorial questions everywhere else in the world are resolved. To do this, we must look at the law. But first, we need a little history.
Bro, what's going on? Does he need to do a poopy? What's going on? He's coming across like he's got a dookie that he's holding in.
Until 100 years ago, the areas now called Israel, the West Bank, Gaza, and all the countries around them were part of the Ottoman Empire.
True. Okay, based.
Which ruled over a vast area and many peoples.
And fucking everyone there were perfectly happy and lived happily ever after, right? That's what you're going to say? Got it. Okay, cool.
Neither the Jews nor those Arabs we now call Palestinians had a state, though the Jews had a nationalist movement calling for one. Everything changed after World War I. The Ottomans fought on the losing side with Germany. By the end of the war in 1918, their empire had disintegrated, leaving the British and French in control of much of its territory. In earlier times, the victors would likely have kept this land as colonies for themselves, but there was a new spirit of democracy in the air. The Allies, including the British, French, and Americans, agreed.
They were just super democratic, dude. They democratically did the Nakba. They democratically, ethnically cleansed the land, rid the land of people that used to live there.
That the former Ottoman...
Yeah, they were doing democratic rapes in villages. Wait, hold on. They did give a pamphlet beforehand, warning everybody that lives there that they need to get the fuck out.
Lands should be allowed to become independent nation-states. After the war, the nations of the world created the League of Nations, a precursor to the United Nations. Meeting in San Remo, Italy in 1920,
he just blew past, there are no Arab Jews. Dude, he's doing maximalist Israeli racism.
They set up what was known as the Mandate System. The colonies of the defeated powers, Germany and the Ottoman Empire, were converted into distinct geopolitical entities, which became the countries now known as Iraq, Lebanon, Syria, and Jordan. None of this is controversial. There was one other mandate issued, the Mandate for Palestine. Now, Palestine was merely a geographic label, the name the Romans gave the Jewish kingdom of Judea after they conquered it. There was nothing exclusively Arab about it. The mandate provided that Palestine...
They just happened to live there, you know? There was nothing Arab about it. I love that he says 2,000 years ago, Jews lived there, but also, like, you know, pre-1948, Arabs lived there, but it's not their land. That's crazy. Okay? How? What level are you on? This is such a funny way to look at situations. It's literally the classic, you know how right-wing Republicans will say, like, I bet you didn't know that the Republican Party defeated the Confederates. I'm like, okay. So why are you wearing the Confederate flag t-shirt right now? Like, you vote Republican and you got the stars and bars on you. What's happening? You got the, like, what do you mean? Like, you're literally wearing the Confederate flag. It just doesn't have to make any logical sense whatsoever. It's just, yes, Jewish people lived there 2,000 years ago, okay? And that's valid and important, but, you know, maybe go back 75 years ago, who lived there, nobody knows.
Palestine would become a national home for the Jewish people. There was a simple reason for this. The League recognized that Jews were the indigenous people of the area.
That's bullshit too. Theodore Herzl and other formative founding fathers of Israel, other formative Zionists, have openly stated, as we looked at the other day, openly stated that this was a colonizing, this was an ideology of the colonizer, and that the Palestinian people were referred to as the natives of that land that would not leave on their own volition. So that's bullshit. Palestinians being descendants of Arab invaders who didn't live in the land 2,000 years ago is a Zionist talking point, and it isn't even true. No, I know. That's why it's like Felix always makes jokes about Bibi Netanyahu finding fucking coins and shit to be like, this was my This was my paternal familial coin that I found 2,000 years ago. This archaeological finding proves that I actually am not like from Hungary, and instead or from Pennsylvania, and instead I actually have been living here permanently. Yeah. It's literally, it's this Joseph Smith shit, basically. Yeah. Things would have been anti-Semitism. Suck my dick, dude. Shut up. Shut up, bitch. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah, no, totally. You're right. There's anti-Semitism. Yeah. Myth-making of that sort to justify my apartheid state. Do not call that out. That's anti-Semitism. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, even if it was true, it's still a ridiculous take, okay? Even if it was true that this is like supposed to be this land that was supposed to be a land specifically left for Jewish people, okay? It's ridiculous to like continue the maintenance of an apartheid state. And that justification, if we're going back long enough in time, like, give me fucking Palestine, okay? You know, it's the Ottoman Empire. Suck my dick. Yeah, give it back to the Ottoman Empire. It's not yours. I think he's saying that because of the Jew with a coin anecdote. No, that is a real thing that Bibi Netanyahu has done, and not like Jewish people money coin type shit. That is like actually a thing.
All the mandatory territories in the Middle East transitioned to statehood in the 1930s and 40s, with Israel the last to do so, declaring independence in May 1948. Now we get to the legal stuff. What were the borders of the State of Israel when it declared independence? International law has a simple and universally applicable rule for determining borders of new countries. It's called the uti possidetis juris principle. Lawyers love Latin phrases. The rule provides that when a new country is created, its borders match the borders of the previous geopolitical entity in that territory. For example, the borders of Ukraine, Latvia, and Azerbaijan are exactly what they were when they were parts of the Soviet Union.
Wait, so you cannot be serious. Is my man literally saying that historic Palestine in its entirety belongs to Israel and not historic Palestinians? Okay.
Union. Other considerations, such as demographics.
From that perspective, it's just like, he just basically said, sorry, the British gave it to us, so technically it's ours. Okay, well, they also claim Jordan too. Yeah, give it to the Palestinians then. Okay, got it.
Are not taken into account, because without a simple, easily applied rule, a new country's borders would never be settled. A recipe for permanent conflict.
Okay, bro.
Applying this rule to Israel means that it had sovereign claims to all of Jerusalem, Judea and Samaria.
Yeah, I can't watch this. This is fucking mind-boggling. This is insane. It's ahistorical. I don't know how to fucking, like, I don't even know how to counter it. He literally is just lying. He just said, no, the entirety of historic Palestine is ours. It's almost here. 2 minutes. It's here actually, I think. No, he's right. Palestinians argue with international law all the time. It was the law. First of all, international law is 100% on the side of Palestinians. It's just that nobody wants to fucking legislate it adequately. That's bullshit. That's exactly what they're saying. If you considered having a state that declares people that already live there to be second-class citizens, that might be a recipe for constant conflict. Yeah, he's making an advocacy for genocide, for the record. It's crazy. It's like trying to evict and steal the home of a dude from Ethiopia because all humans evolved in East Africa 200,000 years ago. Like what the Romans did 2,000 years ago was beyond fucked up. At some point, you're not native to the land anymore. Maybe Arabs living there continuously for 1,300 years are, lol. Exactly. He literally is brushing past, like, multiple generations. Okay? 50 fucking generations of history and saying that no, the actual historic Palestine borders are correct, which is what the Palestinians say, okay? But then saying it's actually Israel's, though. That's fucking psychotic. And also, international history doesn't agree. International law doesn't agree with him. That's why there are areas specifically designated for Palestinian people that, of course, he doesn't even abide by, I guess. International standards don't mean anything. But after all, why would it mean anything as long as America is the big dick daddy in the room that can just turn around and fucking say, no, we're going to veto everything you ever say. There is no mechanism to enforce that. All you can do at the end of the day is go, Israel, don't do genocide, please. And then Israelis can fucking cry about it and be like, oh, God, it's so anti-Semitic that the same governing body that has no fucking power that gave us this fucking land is now also calling us anti-Semitic for further taking more land and doing active genocide. It's crazy.
Because those were its borders according to the Mandate of Palestine. To be sure, the United Nations proposed a resolution in 1947 with different borders and a much smaller area for a Jewish state. But that resolution was a non-binding recommendation, nothing more. It did not have the force of law.
I love that. I love that some rules are more rules than others. He's like some of these legal justifications that absolutely zero people would abide by, I recognize as real rules, and other fucking rules are just simply suggestions. It's literally giving, not Geneva Conventions, Geneva suggestions. That's what he's saying.
We know what happened next. Upon declaring independence, Israel was immediately invaded by 5 Arab armies seeking to destroy it. Israel survived, but Jordan managed to seize parts of Jerusalem, as well as Judea and Samaria, which it dubbed the West Bank.
Oh my God.
All the Jews living in
wow. It's weird that they dubbed that the West Bank. Wait, hold on. What did this map say real quick? Because it sure does seem like this was a forcible recognition of the 1947 UN partition. I don't know. It just looks exactly like the same on the fucking map. Why is he saying that?
Dubbed the West Bank. All the Jews living in these areas were expelled, or to use the contemporary term, ethnically cleansed.
What?
Here.
Okay, no, I'm done. I can't watch this. I will die. I will perish. I will cease to perish. He said Nakba never happened. And then he said, it's actually Jews that were ethnically cleansed from the West Bank. Oh my fucking God, dude. If there is a God, you should be struck down immediately. Oh my fucking God. Okay. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, wow. What the fuck? What the fuck? All right, let's watch this.
This is what I experienced minutes after setting foot in my family.
That guy's a professor. Bro, that he's saying the Palestinians are ethnically cleansing Jews from historic Israeli land.
His hometown.
We literally just got here. We went through the first military checkpoint, and a bunch of soldiers stopped us, started yelling at us.
I'm in the old city of Hebron in the occupied West Bank, a place that once bustled with life. But I'm about to see what Israel's occupation and settlers have done to the heart of this city.
Yeah, that was a settler with a gun, just firing, by the way. He won't go to jail.
And to the people who live here.
I don't know if there's TOS in this. I'm a little scared.
I'm a Palestinian American journalist, and I've spent much of my career reporting on the occupied territories. But Hebron, one of the West Bank's largest cities, is also my roots. My father was born and raised here. I've returned to learn how the occupation has decimated his beloved hometown, a place.
The amount of American Jews I've seen on Insta saying never again is happening again. These people are lost in the sauce, bro. Yeah, no, totally. Never again is happening again. They're not wrong. It's just, you know, Israel is doing it to Palestinians. Straight up.
Place he hasn't been back to in years.
I had a mixed feeling. nostalgia, with anger, despair over despair. What can I say?
I know it's really hard for him to see this, and so it's emotional for me.
So we're officially on our way to Hebron. My team and I are going to Hebron's Old City, which is ground zero of Israeli apartheid. Today, 33,000 Palestinians live in this part of Hebron, which is under full Israeli military control and fragmented by checkpoints, military outposts, and around 1,000.
Like, can you imagine that's supposed to be your land? That's the marginal amount of land that they left for you. And then they slowly but surely, because this is not what it used to look like, slowly but surely over the course of the past couple of decades, literally partitioned your entire fucking state. They occupied it and they partitioned it. They put checkpoints everywhere. Okay?
And Israeli settlers who.
But that's not what this is claiming. Wait, what? No, I thought he said it was Jordan, but that's not what this is claiming. Yeah, that guy was lying. He's talking about why Israel had to occupy the West Bank. He was going to get there, but I couldn't watch the rest of it because he literally said Jews were ethnically cleansed from the West Bank. That's so insane.
Who live here in violation of international law.
اللي حصل في البلدة القديمة في مدينة الخليل هي كارثة بندفع ثمنها كل يوم.
حياتكم هون صعبة.
هي صعبة ومستحيل وحدة تقعد محل تجرب تقعد أسبوع.
إحنا عايشين هون بس باعتبار السجن.
But before we get into all of that, let me back up. It wasn't always like this. This is my dad. He was born in Hebron in 1947. He lived up the hill from the old city where his father and uncle owned a quarry. The year after my dad was born, Israel was established in what Palestinians refer to as the Nakba, or catastrophe. That's because hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were expelled from their homes to clear the way for the creation of a Jewish state.
If you asked Palestinians today if they would be fine taking back 17,000 Jewish people that were expelled from the West Bank and Jordan in general, if they could go back to their own homes, but then there's a single state solution, that would have unified 100% support. Okay? 100%. Because 800,000 Palestinians were purged. Fucking ridiculous. Not even a point of contention. And by the way, the people that are settling in the West Bank now are not those people. They're coming from America. Okay? Or inside of Israel, where they are like the ultra-nationalist, hyper-Zionists who are religious nutcases who think that it's like God telling them that they have to put their ass over there and live there and destroy the Palestinian communities there. What remains of the Palestinian communities there. Get the fuck out of here.
But the West Bank, including Hebron, fell under the control of Jordan. My dad was 19 in June of 1967 when Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza, East Jerusalem, and the Golan Heights and began a military occupation that still has no end in sight. My dad was in college in Jordan at that time, so he wasn't in Hebron to witness that or to see how Jewish settlers took over parts of the old city. A few years later, he moved to the US for graduate school. I was born and raised in San Francisco and grew up hearing my dad reminisce about his childhood, like how he raised chickens and rabbits on the hill as he watched the vibrant city below. When my family would travel to Palestine in the summers, my dad couldn't come because of work. Now, even though he's retired, he says he doesn't want to return because he refuses to be humiliated by Israeli soldiers. He's only been back to Hebron 3 times. But I'm returning to see with my own eyes what has become of this city that made my father and me who we are today. And that all begins with me actually getting there. It's only about 20 miles from Ramallah where we're starting out, but we can't, as Palestinians, access parts of the main north-south highway because that's reserved exclusively for cars with Israeli license plates. So here's another checkpoint. Instead, we have to take narrower roads and cross through several Israeli military checkpoints. There's another checkpoint. That means it takes much, much longer to get there.
We're finally in Hebron. I'm sure my dad knows these streets inside and out, and he used to walk all over here as a child, so this is literally retracing his footsteps, but it's very different now than when he grew up.
Today, many parts of the city are off limits to Palestinians.
All right, gonna go through.
Because I'm Palestinian, I'm not allowed to enter parts of the old city. So I'm meeting former Israeli soldiers who, I hope, will help me access my family's hometown.
Hi, how are you, Ori? Nice to meet you, I'm Dina.
Ori and Joel are with the Israeli anti-occupation group Breaking the Silence. They used to serve in the Israeli army, but now they give tours of Hebron to expose the reality of how Israel treats Palestinians.
Come here.
But before they could even start showing me around, this happened.
היא אזרחית ארצות הברית ועיתונאית, כן? רק שתדעו. היא אזרחית ארצות הברית ועיתונאית.
אין שום בעיה, הוא צילם עמדה ביטחונית, הוא צריך למחוק את הסרטונים האלה.
אני לא צילמתי את העמדה, צילמתי רק אותה.
לא, צילמת את עמדה. זה לא משנה, אם היא עמדה ליד העמדה, אתה מוחק...
דבר ראשון, אתה מפריע לנו בעבודה, בוא תעמוד שם עם המצלמה. דבר ראשון.
עכשיו דוחף אותי.
Bro, that's an American Palestinian, remember. Well, they also fucking assassinated an American Palestinian journalist recently, so... Here it starts, baby. Here we go.
My Palestinian film crew, who have the proper credentials, are sadly used to experiencing this kind of nationalistic harassment and taunting.
So I've been in the old city for about 5 minutes, and we were already stopped by... We literally just got here, and a bunch of soldiers stopped us, started yelling at us, started harassing my cameraman. They just asked to see our IDs. I showed my US passport.
Yeah, that's not scripted at all. Nice script. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no. All of the daily harassment that people in fucking people in the West Bank experience from an occupying force is a script, dog. Just a script. Or maybe it is so fucking commonplace that, well, first of all, why the fuck would the IDF participate in that? Even if it was a script. It's just a prank, bro. Do you not realize both parties script a lot of this shit? Yeah, dude. Yeah, the IDF staged this to make themselves look bad.
To all of a sudden have like 6 or 7 armed Israeli soldiers just swarm.
I mean, if you're saying they're fucking bots, and they behave like a goddamn, if you're saying they're bots and they behave like fucking bots, okay, you're right. You're right.
From you, it's honestly really upsetting that this is how you get welcome to your own home city.
The former soldiers I'm spending the day with say this is a typical scene.
When you consider the fact that they grew up in Israeli society, they have education and media and the political system, all of those elements are telling them that Arabs are scary, Palestinians are bad. And then they get an opportunity when they're in the army, they have power in their hands, and it's not surprising that they use it.
Finally, the soldiers give us back our IDs.
Let's continue, right? It's a very classic demonstration of one of the elements of the occupation, which is complete arbitrariness, right? And every soldier in the occupied territories has the authority on his own decision to detain anyone for 3 hours. Yeah?
Awesome.
So we were not delayed here for 3 hours, and we are going to continue our tour, obviously, but it's an example.
But what a way to start the day.
I'm about to learn that what I just experienced is nothing compared to what the Palestinians who live here go through every day. This is Fadil, who has lived in this home.
Damn, another script, bro. Don't you guys realize this is another script? You know what I'm saying? Classic scripted checkpoint. That's not even a real checkpoint, actually.
His whole life. In the 1980s, Israel set up this checkpoint in front of his house. Fadil now has to check in every time he leaves or enters his own home.
كيف بتضايقوا عليكم؟
زي ما انت شايفه بخلوش قرايبنا يجوا علينا.
خطرة.
يعني بنتي متجوزه مين مسموح لها تيجي جوزها لا.
واو. وهلا لما بتمرق ايش لازم تفرجيه؟
اسمه ورقم هويتي.
وانت بتقدر تمشي هون مش ممنوع.
بس لحديتهم.
واو.
هون ممنوع.
Fadil isn't alone. Thousands of other Palestinians in Hebron are also forced to pass military checkpoints just to go home. The military also bans Palestinians from using certain streets, as Ori shows me.
On that street over there, Palestinians are allowed to walk and open businesses, but not allowed to drive. The yellow street on the map.
Guys, remember, the entire world, and this isn't even like pre-Nakba, like historic Palestine shit. This, at this point, is Israeli occupation, okay? That is universally, by the entire planet, according to the law, an illegal act, okay? I need you to understand, this right here, this occupation is extra illegal. You might have a difference in agreement on like the Israeli state formation, but what they are doing here is objectively illegal. And also on top of that, it's in violation of multiple international laws. But also on top of that, it was maybe like 2 decades ago, not even official Israeli state policy. This is a Benjamin Netanyahu. This is 100% the one of the worst things that Benjamin Netanyahu did was like openly, slowly but surely change the attitude in the Israeli government from like privately defending occupations in the West Bank to straight up colonizing the West Bank. Okay? This entire area should be completely rid of IDF presence and no singular settler should be there. Okay? Not allowed. But because they know that it is completely and wholeheartedly illegal, and it is a practice known as settler terrorism, okay? They have to arm all the settlers. They have to utilize the occupying force of the IDF to constantly maintain these checkpoints and shit. Because technically it would be legal and allowed to fight back against those settlers. That is an act of terror. According to international law, fighting back against those who live there right now, okay, the settlers who came after, would be perfectly legal. 1,000%. Of course, Israel knows this, which is precisely the reason why, even if you look in the direction of a fucking settler, they will go in and they'll fucking harass you and they will arrest you.
Is a street where Palestinians are only allowed to walk, not allowed to drive, and not allowed to open businesses. The streets that we're heading towards are mostly sterile, yeah, meaning that no Palestinian in the whole wide world can walk on those streets. If you do one step over here, no Palestinians are allowed here. If we take one step here, yeah, here Palestinians are allowed. And I don't know any other word to call this than apartheid.
All these restrictions help Israel maintain its hold on Hebron. But they're also in place to protect Israeli settlers. And the ones in Hebron are known for being among the most violent in all of the occupied West
100%. Like, these are some of the most freakish of the ultra-Zionists, dude. I remember reading of a time when the Israeli government was conflicted at the very least, or at least the Israeli people were conflicted about these guys going and living in the West Bank because they were seen as freeloaders. They were seen as freeloaders who went and just fucking settled on this territory. Okay, bro, you can't call Israelis terrorists. That's anti-Semitism. Suck my dick. How do they tell who is Palestinian and who's not besides skin color? Great question. That is also part of the fucking reason why they have to have such rigorous checks and checkpoints and slap license plate stickers on Palestinian cars, because you can't tell who's who is Israeli and who is not. You can't tell. That's why they have to do constant fucking ID checks. Settler terrorist, wild phrase, but it's the truth. Yes, this is considered by the international community to be an act of terror. By international law, what these guys are doing is an act of terrorism. It's called settler colonial terrorism. It demands this apartheid state, unlike the apartheid state in South Africa, also demands round-the-clock surveillance. Now, of course, the apartheid state in South Africa also had round-the-clock surveillance as well, and they had different methods of finding out exactly how not white you were. Like I said before, the pencil test. Okay, dude, name language for a start. Yes, language, but if you learn Hebrew, how the fuck are you going to distinguish that? And also, name. Nobody's name is on their fucking forehead. That's why they need identification and papers all the time. That's the point I'm trying to make. In apartheid South Africa, they used to have a test called a pencil test, where because miscegenation was illegal, in order to figure out whether you were non-white or not, they would stick a pencil in your hair. And if it stuck in your hair, that meant you are not white. And therefore, you were not allowed in areas where only white people were allowed. That is how it works. There are, and this is no different than the rigorous testing and the checkpoints that Palestinian people living in their own fucking land in West Bank have to go through on a daily basis. This is the peaceful collaborative project. Okay? Remember, this is the collaborative project. This is supposed to be what happens when you actually say that you can coexist with Israel. This is what Israel does to you.
Our order in Hebron is protect the Jewish settlers, right? We don't have an order protect Palestinians if settlers harass them.
The soldiers never protect the Palestinians.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not in our order.
This is kind of a common sight here in the old city. There's a Palestinian family that...
Yeah, these are some of the most devout people. Don't they have an obligation to live their lives according to religious laws, such as life is precious? Yes, these are some of the most devout people. So one other thing I must explain to you, chatters who are unfamiliar with this, if you're Palestinian living in the West Bank, okay, and you lived there your whole life, if you leave for any reason, you are not allowed back in to the West Bank. You're not allowed in. Because the Israeli state's official policy is forcible displacement, ethnic cleansing.
Lives at the end of this alleyway. Above them is an Israeli settlement, and because the settlers throw garbage down at them, they have to put these nets here to protect them.
يعني هون لما اجوا اعتقلوني هون بالضبط اعتقلوني.
كنتي هون بالضبط؟
كنت بالضبط.
He was arrested.
لما اجوا اعتقلوني بالضبط هون كنت.
The family at the end of the alley is the Sidrs. Just a few weeks before I arrived to Hebron, nearby settlers accused their 13-year-old daughter Selwa of picking a knife up off the ground.
Liar, you have the knife. A lot of this stuff is, for the record, a lot of this stuff is very well documented. You can see it. I mean, they film it. Everybody's got cameras. You know what I mean? I mean, you might not be able to see it at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break. And if you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free with the Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Like I said, You know, the 3-minute ad break is upon us. So there is that. Here it is. Maybe this is why they weren't prepared for the attack, because they were too busy bothering kids. No, unironically, that is part of it. Yes. With Ben Gvir, who is a Kahanist terrorist dog, okay, given the West Bank territory and its interior security, okay, he wanted to move more security forces, more occupying forces in the West Bank, so that they could keep killing the Palestinians that live there, and deal with the inevitable backlash that happens in that circumstance. Aisha Esquire, thank you for the 5 get the subs. This is part of the reason why. They did not have enough they did not have enough resources internally to defend the southern areas. Oh, another fun fact, obviously, of course, the IDF trains the American police force post 9/11. So, you know, just remember that. Remember this insane Harvard professor spewing?
You will say, what? You want us to make you look good? That's not my job. Your job is to make us look good. Our job is not to make you look good, American Jews. What do you have to worry about? Your job is to make us look good. And here's how you do it. Every one of us has to serve 3 years in the Army, 2 years in the Army, some of us 5 years, and then for the rest of our lives, you have got to serve 2 or 3 years in the army of words. You've got to learn to fight the political battle, which is even more important at this point than the military battle that we are. We'll fight the military battle. We're not asking you necessarily to come and be lone soldiers, although some of you can. You've got to learn how to fight back on the campuses, how to make the arguments. Now, they keep shifting.
It's pretty funny because, like, in spite of all of that, Israel has, unfortunately for Hasbara trolls, Israel's actions speak for itself. And if it wasn't for the mainstream media constantly carrying all of the fucking burden of manipulating people and refusing to cover the real situation on the ground, when you come into a community like this, you hear their arguments. It's fucking bullshit. You cannot argue against the cruelty of an apartheid state. You can cry and piss and shit your pants and say the Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International and former Mossad and former prime ministers of Israel and all these fucking people are actually secretly anti-Semitic for calling Israel an apartheid state. You can do all of that. But the truth will still prevail when you say we're cutting off the fucking food and the water and the electricity to the world's largest concentration camp operated by Israel, open air concentration camp. When you say that, or when you openly show that that's what you're doing, it's impossible to argue against. You can say, oh, well, the Hamas did it, and Hamas is responsible. Hamas is responsible. But it's like, okay, on this part of the planet, there is no Hamas. You think this little girl is Hamas? This is the West Bank. This is supposed to be untouched, untarnished Palestinian territory. So what the fuck is IDF doing there to this little girl?
You know, the ground keeps shifting under us. They keep changing the language.
The ground doesn't keep shifting. What keeps shifting is Israel's violent actions, which become increasingly more violent, and that is by design. It's not because like it is the inevitable conclusion of any fascist ideology. Okay? Any fascist ideology inevitably has to keep squeezing and squeezing and squeezing and keep making more violent actions the reality. That's how it works. You have to keep cranking the dial slowly but surely and become more violent. Violence is a necessity for any state development, of course, but additional violence that even most human beings will comprehend as violent outside of the norm violence is a necessity for the maintenance of an apartheid state. Direct violence in the form of annexation, constant military presence, a surveillance state. These are all necessities for the maintenance of an apartheid state, and Israel certainly is one. It's not grandma's fault. Well, I guess it is kind of. Grandma's justifying it, so she's willingly a participant of it. But ultimately, this is a reality that everyone has to reckon with. This is a reality that people who are participating in this apartheid regime have to reckon with. These problems will not simply go away. They will not perish.
Intersectionality wasn't even a word 10 years ago. Now suddenly it's intersectionality. You've got to stay on top of it. And you know how we train for the army? We don't train for defensive warfare. If the war against Israel ever had to be fought on Israeli soil, do I have to tell you? It's an impossibility. So it's the same thing. Don't let the war of words ever be fought about Israel's nature. Let it be fought about why you can't accept Israel, why you have to single out this tiny people.
Bro, she literally is being like, she's like, yeah, just say everyone is anti-Semitic.
Try to find Israel on the map. It's hardly there. You know, we used to play this game, Where's Waldo?
Everything you say about Israel, you could say tenfold for Palestine. Try to find Palestinians on the map. You literally can't. Israel wiped it, okay? Why do you care so much about Palestinians trying to survive?
There's, where is Waldo on the map? Are you going to really tell me that this is the country you want to blame? Push them, teach them how to defend by attacking. Teach them really what one says as in fencing.
Oh yeah, by the way, she is a Harvard professor, tenured Harvard professor.
You've got to do that. You've got to make demands on them. They've got to serve for 3 years in the army of words.
Well, I cannot even start with this to compete with this question.
Wow, thanks, lady. Anyway, let's get back to peaceful coexistence project in the West Bank with under the Israeli occupation. This is the daily realities of Palestinians living in their own fucking homes in their own neighborhoods.
قعدت ساعة لما فلتوني قعدت ساعة لما فلتوني يعني كثير ساعات لما فلتوني وحققوا معي.
بتخافي يعتقلوكي كمان مرة؟
أنا حسيت إنه وأنا نايمة حسيت إنه بدهم يعتقلوني بنص الليل.
So we're standing here and I'm talking to her in front of her home, and every time we hear a noise she looks up, and I asked her, are you afraid the settlers are throwing something down at you? And she said, yeah, لأنه بصير كتير إنه بيرموا عليكم.
كتير بصير. يعني إذا شفناهم بيلعبوا خلاص بدهم يرمونا بدهم يعملونا يرموا علينا.
Look at that. Effective propagandist, this little girl, you know? I bet she actually scripted that, that Gestapo stopping her just so she could film it on a phone camera and show the world how fucked up the IDF is. It's just like they keep pushing us to do fucked up shit. It's fucked up. Scripted.
حجر وإحنا بنقعد نتفرج عليهم يعني.
أولاد المستوطنين.
طبعا أولاد المستوطنين. يعني أخي صار يحكي لي إياه يطلع محل ألعابهم.
حرام.
كيف بيلعبوا وإحنا نفس خلينا ننزل عندهم نلعب. قلت له كيف ننزل؟ هذا احتلال. كمان إحنا ما بنقدرش يعني ننزل من مرة من هون 24 ساعة في الدار. يعني زي باعتبار السجن.
Just talking to her, it's really you don't feel safe at all. Like it's not a life that people should or can accept.
So how did Hebron end up feeling like a prison for its people? After the Israeli occupation began in 1967, Hebron was among the first places Jewish settlements were built. This illegal land grab captured international attention.
Now there's pressure for large-scale Jewish resettlement. And to some people, this looks very much like colonization.
Some settlers said they were coming to Hebron because of its sacred place in Judaism, as the burial site of Prophet Abraham and his family. Others said they moved there in response to a massacre of Jews that happened in 1929. That's when rising tensions over European Jewish immigration aimed at turning Palestine into a Jewish state led to violence. More than 60 Jews were killed, and homes and synagogues were destroyed in the ancient city. But even after the settlers moved in, Hebron's streets weren't segregated. Then, in 1994, everything changed. An American-Israeli settler armed with an assault rifle.
It was Baruch Goldstein's a piece of shit ass that Ben Gvir had a photo of, right? It was him, right? Fucking animal, dude. Fucking animal, scumbag, sick fuck, piece of shit. Okay? Just wait. Just wait. For those of you who do not know who this man is and what he did, it is the archetype of what I talk about regularly.
Entered the Ibrahimi Mosque during Ramadan and killed 29 Palestinians.
Palestinian fury as the victims of the mosque massacre are rushed to hospital in Hebron. Doctors say most were shot in the back as they knelt to pray.
The shooter was ultimately overpowered by survivors and killed. But today, many Israelis in nearby settlements continue to honor him. In response to
they honor him, bro. They honor him. Ben Gvir had a photo of him in his fucking house, bro. Once again, Ben Gvir, too extreme for the Israeli military. Ben Gvir could not serve in the IDF because he was a Kahanist terrorist dog, okay? Like, understand this. Understand where Israel is now politically, okay? Oh, wow. Oh, shit. Ben Gvir responds to Bennett, fine, I'll take down the Baruch Goldstein picture. So he reluctantly had to take down the photo. What are you doing? What are you fucking insane? Yeah, it is. It is like being like, oh man, oh fuck, you really want me to take down the fucking photo of the mosque shooter, the Christchurch guy? Shit, dude. I guess.
To this massacre and the unrest that followed, Israel punished the victims, closing off roads and choking the economic lifeblood of this Palestinian city.
You know, we're just seeing so many.
Yeah, and by the way, Baruch Goldstein won. Okay, like he fucking won. Like he got his goal across. He accomplished his goal. Like what? There is no world in which like the people that are occupied get punished after after a terror attack, after they withstand a terror attack. Like, that's insane. But of course, there is no logic in apartheid. It's always fuck the underclass.
Empty houses, empty storefronts, Israeli flags everywhere, soldiers stationed everywhere checking us.
Since the crackdown, over 1,500 Palestinian-owned shops have closed for good, and more than 1,000 Palestinian families have moved away from Hebron city center.
They have decimated the old city Israel has. And it's really unfortunate to see. I mean, this should be a thriving, bustling marketplace.
Oh, for people asking who the fuck Ben Gvir is, he is the Minister of National Security. And Netanyahu gave him a fucking SS Praetorian Guard. Itamar Ben Gvir. With his very own Praetorian Guard. He recently was in the news again because everyone is yelling at him. Everyone is yelling at him. No, he's not the one who asked to cut the power. Okay, no, there are plenty of demons in the Israeli government, brother. No, Ben Gvir is not the one who asked to cut the power. That's the head of the military. That one is also a psychopath. But Itamar Ben Gvir, is the right-wing Kahanist terrorist extremist who was too extreme for the IDF. They would not let him serve in the military. He is a fan of Baruch Goldstein, who wounded 125 worshipers and killed 29 in Hebron, as you saw. NBC News, U.S. officials, Biden urged Netanyahu to reduce civilian casualties in the Gaza Strip. This is the very latest news, Lamont. Why would they? Why would they? America lets you do anything. 10% of Israeli Jews think he's a national hero. For the record, just want to point something out here once again. This is too extreme for most Israelis, okay? Like, there you go. 57% of Jewish Israelis polled said they thought Goldstein was a terrorist. Well, about a third of the respondents did not know whether to regard him as a terrorist or a national hero. Like, it's varying degrees of Zionism in Israel. It's like from the most liberal all the way to the most reactionary. It only goes to the right for the most part. But, oh, this is what I was going to show you. Ben Gvir says 10,000 assault rifles purchased for civilian security teams. These are guns, helmets, and body armor to be distributed to hundreds of residents of border regions, mixed Jewish Arab cities, and West Bank settlements. That's what he's doing. Israel also, a while back, implemented a very interesting border patrol policy where they put bounties, okay, where they put bounties on civilians to go out and capture undocumented citizens. It was so well received by Americans that Tucker Carlson said we should do it in America. Yeah. Doesn't America already do bounty hunters? No, this is specifically so you can forcibly detain and be rewarded by the government for detaining people you suspect are undocumented.
Place right now, and it's completely empty.
Look at these empty homes. Used to be the prime real estate in the West Bank. Here,
She's harassing a Palestinian right now, just because he's
basically
sweeping.
What
He's
what
sweeping.
we can just see here, the Palestinians cleaning the street. They just tried to clean around the military post to do their job. Yeah, because this is still a street where Palestinians are allowed to walk. And this settler woman told them, that they shouldn't enter. They shouldn't enter there. They cannot enter this, even though it's a military post.
Please don't touch our camera. That's wild. The settler woman got mad at the Palestinian for sweeping the street, and then she attacked us and our cameras and tried to block us from filming.
Many of Hebron's settlers moved here from the United States. Sadio came from Brooklyn a few years ago.
Does it bother you that you're living somewhere so heavily militarized where Palestinians that have been here for generations are getting kicked out of their houses and can't walk on certain streets?
So I'll ignore the use of the term Palestinian since there is no such nation or people.
Dog, you're from Brooklyn. Shut the fuck up. You're from Brooklyn. Oh my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. Oh my God. 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 It's so hard. I knew there was going to come a point in the fucking conversation where they were going to talk to a fucking American settler and I was going to lose my fucking mind. It's always a guy, dude. There's always a dude. There's always a fucking disgusting American pervert there who's like, oh, sorry, dog. Like, fuck, this is my city now. Oh, I don't care that like your family supposedly lived here for hundreds of years, okay? Hey. We're manifesting destiny so hard that we're manifesting it here, dude, in fucking Israel, my boy.
It doesn't bother me at all. Militarization is a thing happening all across the world. I'm not up to anything and nobody's...
Yeah. It's like militarization happening everywhere, bro. This is how all states are formed. It's like, yes, but not in front of our eyes. You know what I mean?
Invading my space for no reason, I don't care.
يعني أكثر من مرة بأولادي الصغار كان عندي توم بوقف نزل المستوطن كان دا يدبهم على تحت.
يحملهم ويدبهم؟
والله كان دا يحملهم على تحت.
كيف بيعاملوك المستوطنين اللي عايشين هون؟
هون معاملتهم يعني من مرة مش بني آدمين يعني بيعدوا بتفوا بضربوا البنت بتخاف تنزل المرة بتخاف تنزل.
أنا بقول لك من يوم أخوي.
Yeah, you can't do shit too. They'll spit on you. They're fucking gross as shit. They'll beat you up. Now they have more guns than they ever did before. The IDF is there to literally defend them. They spit on you and then you get arrested. Once again, want to point out, this is not Gaza. This is not Gaza. Gaza is even worse than this. Gaza is what happens when you don't cooperate with Israel. This is what happens when you do cooperate with Israel. I need you to understand. This is the West Bank. This is where Israel should not even have the IDF positions. And yet, for some reason, year over year, they have developed directly inside of Palestinian towns and have put highways directly in between Palestinian towns, put checkpoints directly in between Palestinian towns, and then slowly but surely turned most villages into fucking parking lots so that people can get cheap and free real estate.
حجر صوان هون انتفخ كمان.
مين رمى الحجر؟
المستوطن.
So why do you give these tours?
It's extremely important to show people what the occupation looks like because this word is very vague for most people, right?
How do we know a one-state solution wouldn't lead to the same racist society? There's a couple different reasons. Because there's a fuck ton of Palestinians. That's part of the reason why one state is like not even discussed, and people consider that to be ethnic cleansing of Israeli Jews, because there's a lot of Palestinians. So if there was a democratic process, if there was a democratic process, they're worried that like Palestinians would have rights, and therefore could stop this kind of partitioning from happening. But make no mistake, even when there were significantly less Jews, there still were Jewish people and Christian people and Muslim people peacefully coexisting in historic Palestine. Of course, before the Nakba and before the British occupation, British mandate. This is, you know, the moment this stream died, busty Jewish boy. What? Palestinians would roughly be 28% of an integrated population, 4 million versus 10 million. That is, of course, if Palestinians got the same liberties that Israelis have currently or Jews have currently to be able to freely freely immigrate into Israel, because obviously one of the goals is to, you know, maintain if Palestinians have a right to return, then that number would even be larger than that. Yeah. There are 4 million Palestinians in Palestine. Okay, 2 and 2 in Gaza and the West Bank. I think those numbers are right. And then there are 5 million in diaspora displaced. More Palestinians are displaced from their ancestral homes than living in Gaza or the West Bank. So it would most likely be a 50-50 split. 9 million, well, I guess it wouldn't be 9 million Jews because the Israeli population also has Palestinian or Muslim Israelis as well. The 1948ers, the ones that actually did get the first and last time Arabs were given, Muslim Arabs were given, first and last time that Muslim Arabs were ever given citizenship. So yeah, they would be, while they are second-class citizens now, I think if Palestinians had a right to return in a single-state solution, the Muslim number would be larger. Like the number of Palestinians would be larger, which is, I think, what they are afraid of for the most part. I think ghettoization is a better term than saying partitioning. Ghettoization is stage 8 of genocide. Yeah, this is, but I don't know. I mean, okay, then Gaza is a concentration camp. If this is a ghetto, then Gaza is a concentration camp. Gaza is not the ghetto. This is the ghettoization.
Occupation. And when you see here, when you walk on those segregated streets, you cannot ignore the reality.
But yeah, now you understand why the single state solution is not likely, because Israelis would never allow that to happen. And for the record, that would not yield a fucking genocide of the Jews or anything, okay? Because Palestinians just want to exist freely in their homes, okay? Without constantly having to struggle with an occupying force, bullying them, humiliating them, killing them, arresting them for no reason whatsoever as second-class citizens in their own fucking neighborhoods. The idea that this would like flip the script and that Palestinians somehow would treat Israelis in the same way that Israelis treated them is pure fantasy. It's a hypothetical. It is pure projection. It is no different than when racist white Americans think that when the white majority turns into a white minority, that the minorities will treat them with the same fucking viciousness that they showed other people, that they showed the minorities themselves. It's the same attitude that slavers had in the Reconstruction era, that we must restore the social hierarchy between black and white people in the Reconstruction South, because otherwise they'll fucking kill us. They'll kill us. They'll treat us. They'll enslave us. Most of these people who have been oppressed are not looking for vengeance. Okay? They're looking for equality.
And I believe that it's my responsibility as someone who took part in it. The minimum that I can do is to try and show people what I was sent to do. I believe that any decent human being who will see this will want this to end.
So we're going to attempt to enter Shuhada Street right now. No Palestinians are allowed to be on that street, only Israelis and foreigners. I'm going to enter on my US passport. Of course, I'm originally Palestinian, so we'll see how that goes.
While all of Hebron's old city has been affected by the occupation, the most striking example might be Shuhada Street. It used to be the city's most important, vibrant thoroughfare. My dad went to middle
Yeah, one state solution that's a confederation of two states with self-autonomy, a national parliament that has 50-50 Israeli, Jewish, and Palestinian Muslim Christian representation like Lebanon, reparations for Palestinians, and free access to holy sites for all three religions would be the right thing to do. I don't even think that it should be a 50-50. I don't even think that it should be a confederation of two states with self-autonomy. I think it should be a singular state.
school on this road, and his family owned shops here. But in the years following the 1994 massacre, Palestinians have been banned from walking on this street, even if they live on it.
So the Israeli military welded these Palestinian doors shut.
This is welding. We actually welded shut their doors. We send Israeli soldiers to weld shut those front doors of these families while everyone else who's not a Palestinian can walk freely.
This video shows what it takes for one Palestinian woman to leave her home. She climbs her roof and scales back down to the ground to exit on a back street where she is allowed to be.
But if you're a Jewish settler, you can walk out in the front, in your front of your front door. Yeah.
Look at us. Not only if you're a Jewish settler, everyone who is not a Palestinian.
إمتى آخر مرة مشيتي على شارع شهداء؟
يمكن من 25 سنة.
25 سنة، يعني كل يوم تطلعي عليه وممنوع.
كل ما بطلع عليه، أما هو ما شايف، كان تبنا بدنا نروح مثلا هاي الكارنتينا، بدنا نطعم الأولاد، أمشي هذه المسافة كلياتها على الكارنتينا، كانت كلها فاتحة المحلات وسوق الخضرة والسيارات، هات ما في حدا.
No, this is worse than Jim Crow South. I'll say that. I'll 100% say that. I've actually said it before. Jim Crow South is what Arab Israelis experience inside of the borders of Israel right now. This is so much worse. Like, it's true. It's like not to say that the Jim Crow South was like great. Obviously it wasn't. It was devastating, right? But it would be a step up from the West Bank and multiple steps up from Gaza. It's not even comparable.
This is the old central bus station in Hebron, and they've turned it into a new military base that's under construction there, and behind it is a new settlement.
Over here, we can walk and have a look on the old jewelry.
That's why Noam Chomsky says that the situation with Israel's apartheid statehood is worse than the apartheid state of South Africa, because the South African population was 90% black, 10% white, and the apartheid also had an additional materialist reason for its existence, where you could basically enslave black people, and black people comprised the entirety of the workforce. Whereas inside of Israel, there are different factions and different understandings, but there are plenty of people who do not think that that there's any use for Palestinians whatsoever, and that they should just simply go away.
Market. This whole thing is a settlement.
This is how absolutely devastated it is right now. Settlers came and just ravaged the whole place and destroyed it. This is the old fruit and vegetable market. It was here, and now what does the sign say, Ori?
Now this is a settlement.
The old city has suffered. Everywhere you look, there's just deserted shops, deserted homes, destruction, broken windows. And in the middle of it all, there's like schools and settlements and Israeli settlers just living their lives with the full protection of the military. You know, one thing that's really striking being here is how incredibly silent it is. The only sound you hear is the flutter of these little Israeli flags above. I keep thinking about how, you know, I directly descend from here. Not only is it like sad on just a human level, but there's a very personal element to this street as well. I don't blame my dad for not wanting to come back because it's that messed up. So I'm trying to piece together exactly where my dad grew up. You know, I've pieced together that that's where my family's home is. And the view is of a bunch of Israeli flags and a military outpost on the hill over there. And in between them, the cemetery where my grandparents are buried and the home that my father grew up in. So, man, I wonder if he's awake right now. I should FaceTime him. Hi, Baba.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Afternoon.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
I want to show you. I think this is where you grew up. Is this?
This is Shuhada Street. Yes.
Yeah, this is Shuhada. There's nobody here except for some soldiers and a few settlers. It's a total ghost town.
During the days, you see the people in the market, and at night, I could see the singing and the dancing. It was like the heart of the city. Sad, so sad.
It's so sad.
Well, I had a mixed feeling, nostalgia with anger.
This is the old vegetable market. Does this look familiar to you?
Exactly. I used to go sometimes in the morning in the summer to buy cactus pear. This is despair over despair. What can I say?
How does it make you feel showing your dad?
I don't know. I feel really sad. Like, he grew up right there. You know, his parents are buried right there. And I know it's really hard for him to see this. And so it's emotional for me.
My dad wanted to talk to Ori.
Hello, my friend.
Hi, nice to meet you.
I'm glad you are for peace. When counting on people like you to expose the lie.
I really hope you can be here and visit your childhood home.
Listen, this is why, like, I also don't have the same fucking perspective that many others have about veterans in general, because even if you were duped into service, even if you, and in Israel it's even more different than that because there's a forcible conscription, right? Ultimately, you have always the service is mandatory in Israel, but you always have the opportunity to also go to jail. But that's a big ask, especially when you consider that. You don't even think about that alternative. Okay, no, don't say you still participated in this shit, man. If you are an actual fucking leftist, you should literally understand reform, okay, by heart, rehabilitation by heart. If you spend the rest of your life making up for what you have done, okay, after being full-blown propagandized your whole fucking life, and then you served in the military because it's mandatory, okay, and then you literally join a fucking group of veterans, specifically, which I've also utilized as well in my coverage here, and you fight against the occupation, which is the veterans group that he's a part of, the IDF Veterans Against Occupation. It's perfectly valid. What are you supporting here? What's your POV? Is it common for all former IDF soldiers to go against the state and support Palestine after they serve? Fuck no. No, of course it's not. I see the exact same situation in America as well. Heavily propagandized group of individuals. If you served in the military due to the poverty draft or due to some hoorah dipshit post 9/11, and then you recognize that sucks. I mean, I've had Mike Preisner on the stream. He is a fucking American U.S. military veteran, also a member of PSL. He's awesome. He is married to Abby Martin, whose documentary we watched yesterday, Gaza Fights for Freedom. Like, there are plenty of wonderful people who may have done bad things in the past. It's all a matter of perspective, and it's all a matter of recognizing what that service entailed and then working to right those wrongs. I mean, yes, One of the best members of this community, of course, is Chelsea Manning, also a veteran of the U.S. military. She not only paid a very big price for her bravery, but she is living proof that there are still incredibly kind, incredibly brave individuals that serve for one reason or another, and then recognize that what they're doing is wrong and work against it.
At some point. Really, really hope.
You know what I do? I just keep looking at the pictures over and over and over again. I am physically in San Francisco, but spiritually and emotionally always in Hebron.
I'm curious, how did you feel watching me talk to my dad and then speaking to him yourself?
Like sad, responsible, that this is what the place that I grew up in, that I was so proud of when I was a child. This is what we're actually doing to people. And it feels horrible to feel that.
What most haunts you and your conscience about what you did in your time as a soldier?
For me, it's the routine way we control the Palestinians, right? A Palestinian can wake up in the morning and not know if he will be at work on time, go to sleep, not know if soldiers will invade his home. We basically control the most simple and basic elements of life.
It's designed to break down the population of Palestinians and show them who's in charge and humiliate them on a daily basis.
Exactly. How can we make 2.5 million Palestinians in the West Bank to feel that they cannot lift their head up? We will make them understand that we control their lives.
Like, do you see? This is why. This right here. When the entire state tells you that this is normal and good, it takes a lot of bravery and it takes a lot of self-criticism to be able to like snap out of your daily life and everything that you've learned and be able to rewire yourself and go against your programming. Okay? That's why I don't have the same perspective that many others do, I think, when it comes to veterans.
The segregated roads and the settlements and so forth, they exist all around the occupied territories. Military activity, home invasions, patrols, digital surveillance, they exist here and they exist all over the West Bank. The difference in Hebron is that in a very short walk, we can see examples of all of it.
All of it.
All of
we
it.
saw all of it.
It was a heavy day, but before it ended, I wanted to visit my father's childhood home. As I stood on the roof overlooking the old city, I thought about how the landscape today is completely different from the one he looked out at when he stood in this same spot. And I couldn't stop thinking about everyone I met and the price they're paying for remaining.
رغم ذلك انت ضايل هون.
طبعا دارنا بيتنا هون. وين اروح؟
بس في غيرك سافر وهاجروا.
في اللي معه مصاري بيطلع، احنا على باب الله. الحمد لله.
عمرك فكرتي ترحلي من هون؟
لا لا.
ليه؟
شو؟ ما هو كل مشاكلي معاهم عشان ارحل من هون. ملايين دفعوا لي. ملايين دفعوا لي. اخر مرة زهقوا وحطوا لي شك مفتوح. ما قبلت.
وانت مش راضية؟
وانا مش راضية.
ليش مش راضية؟
ما خلص.
Yeah, by the way, this is why people say Palestinians are the most resilient people in the world. Because in the face of all this oppression, they say, no, we're gonna keep living our lives.
إذا هذه راحت شو بده يضل؟ إذا أخذوا البيت شو بده يضل؟
لسه عمرك تخافي ولا عمرك في عينك تخافي. أنا بحب بنتي تكون قوية.
But I want my daughter to be strong.
يا لما أجي أعتقل بنتي أعطالي درس الاحتلال. أعطالي إياه إذا أنت ضابط إسرائيلي تتعامل مع البنت هيك. شو بدك يكون بينه وبينك السلام؟ أنا أقول لك شغلة واحدة، إذا أنا مش حامي حالي. يعني أنا
Once again, peaceful coexistence project in the West Bank, run by the Palestinian Authority. This is important for you to recognize. And the situation has only worsened since this documentary came out 11 months ago. Okay? The reason why you have to see this, okay, is because Gaza feels so alien. It feels so foreign to people. Gaza feels like Iraq. Americans are so conditioned into thinking like death, destruction befalls upon the Middle East, on the Muslim people. They're barbarians. They deserve it. They're violent. Okay? So you look at Gaza and you think, oh, this is just like Baghdad when we bombed it. The reason why I wanted you to see this is because these people are not Hamas. People in Gaza are not Hamas either. But Israel can't even claim that these people in West Bank are Hamas. Okay? This is an even larger act of maybe not evil, but disrespect. This is their home, and they are trying by way of the Palestinian Authority or have tried by way of the Palestinian Authority to collaborate with the Israeli government. Not the people on the ground, of course. They have different opinions, but the understanding is that this is what it looks like to live and collaborate alongside the Israeli government. So this is why I always say, when people say like, oh, dude, if Israel stopped its violence, like they would be ethnically cleansed. If Palestinians stopped its violence, like all the violence would end. It's bullshit.
It's hard to shake the idea that this Palestinian father could have been my dad. I could have been Selwa. This could have been my life.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video from...
And 100%, like I said, people that are not supposed to be there but live there, the Israeli settlers, are engaging in an act of terrorism. Okay? It's called settler terrorism. This is not just my opinion on the matter. This is international law. Not that it fucking matters. Okay? Those settlers are engaging in an illegal act. It is well within the legal rights of the Palestinians to engage in armed resistance against them. Israel knows this, and that is precisely why they control that territory in the way that they do. Okay? They're calling you Hamas poker now, Sag. You can only do so much. Oh no, a bunch of fucking antisocial personality disordered losers online that never go outside, that just make memes simply about whatever fucking new trend is out there, are calling me HasanAbi or Hamas Piker. Oh no, what will I do? What will I do?